that means we are now live here on our YouTube channel, Tackle Trading's Halftime Report. And I always love that double dip audio whenever we get it. It gives me a little bit of joy. Cody was playing it on a loop the other day.
Yeah, that was my fault. I was logging into the halftime with the halftime crew, and that was me. Had the sound shared on YouTube. So
say la vie, brother. No, say la vie. But anyway, welcome out to our show here, guys. It is Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. There's a lot going on in the world. In the markets, though, not quite as much. Kind of a lightened day here from a news perspective. There's some economic data we're going to look at, a couple of different headlines. But really, we're going to look at the market from a top-down perspective, break down the sectors, and start getting ready for our scouting report meetings, Matt, which we normally do on Fridays, but we're actually moving it to Wednesday here this week at Tackle Trading. Welcome out to our show, everybody. If you're a veteran of our channel and you're coming in here again, we appreciate you guys. Hashtag Team Tackle right in the chat. If you're brand new to the channel as you're joining us, welcome. It's a great time to find us. Click subscribe, click the bell, come back and join us on a daily basis. Guys, let's get right into it if we can. We've got Matt running the screen and doing the analysis. Got Mark on the back end doing analysis as well. I am your host, Tim Justice, and Cody is producing the show. Matty, how are you doing today, sir?
Tim, doing absolutely fantastic. I'm excited. I'm excited for Thanksgiving tomorrow, and I'm excited to try to figure out a way I can have an amazing Thanksgiving dinner with my family while we're in a little bit of COVID quarantine over here in the Justice household. So I don't know if we're going to do the four corners strategy, the basketball strategy. I think we might do the four corners basketball strategy for Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow night or tomorrow day.
Is that just everywhere?
You don't remember the four corners? Oh, man. Oh, come on. Emory
basketball.
High School Spartans basketball, four corners. You're up 5 with 3 minutes left. You go put somebody in the corner on the baseline, corner by the half court line. You just, play keep away.
We would milk the clock for quarters.
Listen, if we had a 3-point lead, we're going to try to milk that clock. I mean, we put the definition of prevent defense literally in the dictionary.
Yeah, I remember minutes and minutes at a time, just milking the clock, move the ball around. Yeah,
we were Princeton in '85. We're good to go.
Absolutely. Mark, how are you doing today, day before Thanksgiving here?
Dude, I'm doing crappy. Like, once again, making money on a stock only to have it run away from me, so I can't make money the next
Oh my God, nobody cares about your greed.
Listen.
Maybe I'm just projecting here, but
no, but this is a stock I've ran my mouth on. PLTR, pull it up just so I can get it out of my system. I've been talking this stock up since it IPO'd, and I've been talking up heavily on the shows I do for the last couple weeks, and yeah, running away from me again. So all those naked puts, expiring worthless, make me money, but I can't make, it just, so I'm in a crabby mood.
Oh, Tim, is there anything more irritating or downright offensive than when somebody makes money in the market and then starts complaining about how they didn't make more money to a group of traders that are like, wait a second.
Yeah. It's like an athlete complaining about their contract.
Is there literally anything more annoying than listening to a trader talk about how they didn't make more money?
A professional athlete telling me they can't pay their bills when they make a $10 million a year salary. That annoys me. It does. But here's the thing about
I get it.
Here's the thing with Mark, though. It's endearing. People love things Mark hates. They just love it.
Okay.
So,
but you know what? If Noah comes on, starts complaining about how he's not making more money than he thinks he should make, like everybody's gonna be like, "Shut up."
Yeah, exactly.
If I come on today and I'm like, you know what? I'm just so sick and tired of making just not enough money. like everybody be like, "Shut up, Matt. Just shut up. Just go to your corner. Go to your COVID corner, Matt."
Yeah.
And then Mark says, "They're like, yeah, it's just Mark." It's amazing. I love it. I love it.
I did pick up some shares of this, Mark, when you were talking about it back, about a month ago or so. So it's
and you're uncovered, aren't you?
How do you feel?
Why would I cover?
Hold on. How would you feel about Tim making more money on your call?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't have a problem with that. Like, everybody make all the money you want. All I care about is my money. And Well, like once it goes parabolic like this, I can't sell
Mark,
naked puts because
Mark,
it's a bad decision.
there's this amazing system at Tackle Trading called the STEP system. It'll teach you how to trade a breakout and how to manage that from a stop loss management perspective, so you can still sleep at
You
night.
directional trader. Listen, you directional traders.
Listen, you can't
kiss
do
my
this. This
ass.
is terrible. This is terrible. You can't do this. You can't come on and be like, oh man, I get it. I get to sit here and crow that I can hit 95% of my trades, and then also come on and complain about how the swing traders are cleaning it up because
Listen,
they
I'm
only
happy
hit
for you, Tim.
52%
Happy
of their
freaking
trades.
Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness.
Mark, no,
come on.
Genuinely, I'm glad you put it on my radar, Mark. A little momentum play here, and smaller stock, catch the consciousness.
Everybody
Absolutely.
say thank you, Mark, for helping all of us momentum traders make more money than him. Everybody just say thank you.
All can kiss my pasty white ass this morning.
It's Thanksgiving week, Mark.
It's
express gratitude,
bro.
positivity.
Bro,
the whole world is focused on positivity today.
I just got to tell you, bro, I love you with all my heart, and I'm so happy and thankful that you're in my life, and I'm so grateful for your ability to really pick clear winners here.
Listen.
All right,
Anyways,
all right. Moving on.
But a lot of people are like, I covered, I'm not in, blah, blah, blah. Whenever anything goes parabolic and you miss the signal, you can't do anything. You got to wait patiently. You got to wait patiently for the next signal.
Yeah.
You got to wait patiently for the next setup. We don't chase momentum when it's left the train. That doesn't give you an edge.
Do not chase the dragon. The dragon bites.
Yeah,
bites. You just have to wait for the next opportunity, whether it's on this stock or another one. They're always one. That is why trading is great. That is why trading can help you get to where you need to be. Come be part of our community. We have a good time.
We sure do. By the way, speaking of good time, let's start breaking down the markets one step at a time. One of my favorite things in our communities when we just start looking at charts together, and there's a lot of charts I want to unpack here today. Start with the S&P 500. We're obviously hesitating here on a Wednesday, Matt, heading into the holiday. Just a reminder to everybody out there, the market is closed tomorrow. Futures markets, I think, have limited availability. It's going to be very, very light volume. Markets are open on Friday for half a day until 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, Forex markets have their own schedules, so kind of be aware of the scheduling. But Matt, people start to lighten up their positions in trading as that you head into this part of the week. And in fact, one of the phrases that we love at Tackle Trading is called theta giving. In fact, in the chat, guys, if your team tackle, put in theta giving. And that's something Coach Gino has been talking about for years. He's been knowing about it,
Yep.
Explain what theta giving is, Matt. And
well, it's something Gino does, and I remember I was in Los Angeles one time speaking at an event and having a great time there. We were near Redondo Beach, where Gino has his office and lives there, and so Gino came out, and it was like right before Thanksgiving, and I'm talking about the power of theta, because Gino, like Mark, I mean, Gino is unlike Mark, Gino will directionally trade, but Gino primarily is very similar to Mark, sells a lot of naked puts, covered calls, cash flow strategies. And so whenever Gino would come out, I'd always give Gino the floor to kind of talk about the power of theta. And so Gino comes out one day out there in Redondo Beach, and he's talking about theta. And he's like, oh yeah, one of my favorite things to do is, and it's more mindset than anything, to be perfectly honest with you. It's more mindset than it is really even math. But what he likes to do is I like to stack theta. So instead of at the Gino Poor household, at the Poor household, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. What we do is we stack theta, and then we have theta giving. And so theta, what Gino likes to do is to stack as much theta coming into extended periods of time where there's not a lot of market activity, where you have some market activity, but not a lot of news. There's not a lot of things that can transpire. So Gino feels a little bit more confident coming into these type of weekends where, you have 3 days that are closed. You have another day where, traders are not looking at the market. I mean, there's a reason we're not doing the halftime report on Friday, because, things are going to be happening. There's our trades that are going to be made, but for the most part, it's going to be extremely, extremely light volume. People are dealing with Thanksgiving, family, and everything else. So Gino loves to stack theta because, he, in his mind, he gets these 4 days, even though there is some market activity, he gets those 4 days where he can take out to a certain extent the directional risk of the market and then just stack that theta coming into him so he can cash flow. And again, it's as much mindset as it is math, but it's a very, very, very good mindset. And so happy theta giving to everybody.
Happy theta giving, no question about it. And it is a mindset concept, but mindset's very important. You know, embracing the idea, okay, got a few days off, let's stack the theta, let's capture a little bit of it, you know, as the markets are open. I like it. And it's a very cool way to think about, you know, holiday trading and whatnot, because volumes do lighten up. So happy theta giving, everybody out there. And let's get started with some of the other analysis.
Well, specifically, very quickly before we get into some of the analysis, on the Friday with the market open, what are your guys's? I know, Mark, you're probably not doing much, not as like a swing trader or anything. You're stacking theta for the weekend, but you know, is there anything you guys approach Friday when when we know there's going to be extremely light volume on modified hours?
I won't day trade. I'm
Okay.
not going to be doing that on Friday. I'm not going to be doing much long-term stuff. If I get a swing trade setup that confirms, Matt, I might take it. You know?
So, okay. So yeah, I agree with it. We don't make a lot of long-term decisions on a daily basis. Yeah. So guarantee on Friday, none of that. But swing trading, you still would be comfortable? Because I would too. I would too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I just wanted, because I'm sure that we have people in our community wondering, light volume day, am I gonna trust what I see on Friday? I wouldn't be aggressive, but if you see a trade, take the trade, right?
Yeah. And we're starting to see a pattern developing in the market. I don't know if it's got, you know, the reason why I would take it on Friday, but I'm not afraid of the weekends. I mean, Monday mornings have been bullish for these markets, Mark. So if I get a trigger today or Friday, I would be willing to take a new position for sure. Yeah, I'm going to run my routine. Mark, what about you? What are you doing?
I don't think you're going to get a trigger today. This day's over, in my opinion.
You know, I was thinking about doing the weekend, you know, how I do that last hour of the week today, but I'm going to do it on Friday instead. Because one, I don't have any kids and I don't have anything going on Friday. So if any of you are bored and not shopping at home, for pro members, I'll be doing my Mind of the Trader at the closing bell on Friday, the hour before the market closes. And so there will be a little bit of programming on Friday for pro members, for those individuals at home, just thinking about what to do. So, you know, I'll probably go through my normal routine, like, you know, probably go through my normal routine. Now, if I couldn't be there, let's say I had family activities, let's say something like that, I wouldn't worry about it a whole lot, because I don't expect, maybe there's like individual company news, right? And so like a specific company, like today on Slack, WRRK, rumors of CRM buying it out.
I didn't see that headline.
You know, and so like maybe
I saw it right before we came on. WRRK.
Work.
And so maybe there's like an individual company news that like triggers it, right? You know, but so like, but the whole market, I mean, we've seen this Friday many times, right? Not a whole lot that goes on. It's pretty muted, to say the least. So I'm going to go through my normal routine like I would on a trading day. And, you know, for those individuals that are out there, join me for that last hour before the market closes on Friday, and we'll go through that. But if I couldn't be there, I wouldn't stress it a whole lot. I would make my final decisions today and just enjoy a 4-day weekend.
So this Slack news market must have just hit the headlines, obviously, this morning, and a little bit more here, just right as we were going live, Matt. I'm seeing some headlines coming out here.
Yeah, it's in the rumor mill. We'll see.
But it's not a deal yet, right? This isn't.
No, it's in the rumor mill.
I see. Yeah, I gotcha. All right, back on the markets. Let's go through it one step at a time if we can. S&P 500.
Those things can happen fairly fast, though.
Sure, if it's already
not everything has to be a multi-year Tiffany scandal.
It's been going on all year with those guys, for sure. All right, let's start with the S&P, Matt. Just break it down technically. Take a look at the indexes. Any of them that grab your attention?
Yeah, looking at the S&P here, 500 very quickly. Just technically, you held support here. We broke this down a couple of days ago on the halftime report. Held support right there underneath that 35.50 level. Really kind of forming that flag-based pattern where it's still a momentum type trigger off the 90 MA. And now what you're doing is you're threatening a breakout. And this is not a simple breakout in the sense where you have like a clean trigger and you can easily call it confirmation. You know, like for example on the Dow here, and we know everybody's talking about the Dow the same way everybody talks about the Dow when it achieves a massive big number, right? I don't know about you, but I really get sick and tired of social media and the media when the Dow achieves something, 30,000, all of a sudden everybody talks about the Dow at 30,000, right? Like everybody's like such a crowning achievement. It's like, okay, nobody ever analyzes the Dow outside of seasonality and sector rotation models. Everybody looks at the S&P, but all of a sudden everybody talks about the Dow. But there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. And that reason is these significant whole numbers, these psychological numbers are so important to us as individuals that they just trigger an emotional response. And so when you see something like this achieved, it's easier to call this confirmation, right? When you're looking at 30,000 here and you see the wick of that big candle on the, and you guys remember this day, this was Pfizer day, right? This was Pfizer 90% effective rate vaccine day. And where did it trigger? Literally to the penny. Boom, 30,000. Coming on the snapback defense rally, coming back up into 30,000. Where did it hit it? 30,000. Where did it come in yesterday? 30,000. So it's very easy on the Dow to look at this index and say, okay, I'm calling this confirmation above 30,000. Now let's just see that momentum above 30,000 at this point. And even though we're seeing a little bit of weakness in today, I see this more just a little bit of profit taking coming into an extended weekend where traders maybe want to, lock it down a little bit from a risk profile perspective and just enjoy Thanksgiving more than anything else, because there's nothing really negative in the data here today, even though we do have quite a bit of economic reports, and we did have a lot of earnings reports, but most of them not that important. So in looking at that from a confirmation perspective, you say, okay, 30,000, you achieve that, you're above your historical technical levels, you're looking at it from a very, very, very significant whole number perspective. That's an easy analysis to make there on the Dow from a confirmation perspective. Not so easy here on the S&P 500, which obviously with the NASDAQ and the S&P, this has been lagging the markets a little bit, post presidential election, where in the Dow, we're up here against that breakout channel against 30,000, right where that wick was. Obviously, we're underneath that breakout channel. So anything we break out of here, we still have to be a little concerned with that as the confirmation. You saw yesterday the close above the wick, seeing a little bit of weakness here today. So it's a little bit more complicated to look at it from a confirmation perspective in the S&P relative to the Dow. Same thing from a NASDAQ perspective, although the NASDAQ is starting to heat up a little bit. We should start looking at this a little bit, especially from a relative strength. This is really the first time in the last 3 weeks where we've seen the NASDAQ show a little bit more strength than the S&P, not the S&P, but specifically the Russell 2000 and the Dow Jones. If you remember, post-election, the entire theme supports, what does it support? It supports infrastructure. It supports economy reopening up themes. It supports small and mid cap type stocks as well. So when you're looking at that theme that developed, obviously the Dow Jones is going to be a leader there. The Russell 2000, the small and the mid cap is going to be a leader there. Certain sectors within the S&P, energy, industrial, finance, cyclical areas of the market, they're going to be leaders there. And that's what we've seen. And Tim, throughout the last 3 weeks, I remember talking about what the market is now starting to forward project. And that's basically what themes are, is their forward projections. And so when you're looking at the marketplace and you're looking at it over the last 3 weeks, and you're saying, okay, every day we're looking at this. Yes, this theme is playing out. Yes, this theme is playing out. Yes, we're seeing value pick up. Yes, we're seeing industrial pick up. Yes, we're seeing cyclical pick up. Even finance. Somebody helps me understand this, but the market sees finance as a cyclical area of the market right now. It's picking up. And so the last question after all of that analysis was, the only question we have is, can this continue? And every day that's been answered to the affirmative. Nothing in the short-term data is suggesting otherwise here either today. But what I'm suggesting is this: when you're looking at the NASDAQ specifically, okay, and you're looking at 3 sectors that kind of go in line with the NASDAQ type theme, right, that has been fairly dominant this year. You're looking at discretionary. It's been a powerhouse over the last 10 years. You're looking at technology, an absolute powerhouse over the last 10 years. You're looking at communications, which is an offshoot. Basically, it's the demon spawn of discretionary and technology. That is the communication sector, literally the demon spawn of technology and discretionary. Those three sectors, they've been juggernauts for the last 10 years, and yet they've been laggards in the last 3 weeks. But we are seeing something in the last couple days that, and what have we been saying for the last 3 weeks? Tech's just taking a nap. Just because we're seeing strength in other areas of the market doesn't mean the others have to sell off and show relative weakness. We're talking about relative strength. So in terms of this, look at the NASDAQ here. Okay, look at yesterday, no sell day, showing weakness today. Now we're threatening a breakout on the NASDAQ, reclaiming those. When you're looking at this from a sector perspective, and yes, I'm gonna, in the scouting report meeting later today, I will rank industrials, I will rank basic materials, I will rank some of these other theme-based areas of the market a little bit more aggressively than the laggards. But when I'm looking at some of these laggards over the last 3 weeks in communications, look at this potential breakout in communications right at $65. Mm-hmm. You put this on a weekly chart. Who wants to sign up for a breakout of 65 on that weekly chart here, guys?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Okay, it's beautiful. Okay, so even though we're seeing strength in other areas of the market, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing the Russell 2000 a little bit overextended, the Dow Jones maybe a little extended. And Tim, how many times have we seen this? Dow hits 20,000. Sees a little bit of just a psychological sell-off, mm-hmm. right? You achieve this crowning of achievement, Dow 30,000, and guess what? We're all going on vacation called Thanksgiving, so we don't have to think about the market because we achieved that. Bitcoin 20,000, same type of conversation. So when you're looking at that, you might see a little bit of slowing momentum in those patterns in the aggressive areas of the market. And maybe, just maybe, we see a little life here in communications, technology, and discretionary. When you're, and I'll take a look at these sectors here in just a second, but I just want to take a quick peek at the technology space, specifically here, XLK, same type of thing as you're looking on the NASDAQ. And then when you're looking at discretionary here, once again, you are kissing off that breakout there. Discretionary, and retail, obviously discretionary is chock full of retail. We've had a lot of retail earnings in the last couple of weeks, most of them fairly decent out there. So in terms of this, let's not sleep on discretionary. Let's not sleep on communication specifically. And let's look at technology and say, okay, can technology ultimately break out? And we know it can fly at that point. So I like, honestly, guys, I've been looking at this market, Tim and Mark, all morning long. And, let me just put it like this. And I've done this in every sector, but let me just give you a specific sector for just 1 second. 1 second. When you're looking at communications here, and this is just an example, okay? We all love the potential breakout of communications, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Okay. So when you're looking at communications and you're saying, okay, to a trader like Tim, right, to a trader like Tyler, to a trader like Noah, those traders that Mark likes to say, you quote unquote, you momentum traders, right? To you momentum traders, well, communications is breaking out of that $65 mark. The traders are looking at that saying, yeah, not day traders, but swing traders and position traders are saying, we like the breakout of 65. Let's see some runner there. Okay, great. Now let's take a look at some of the stocks in that sector here. Google. Guys, we haven't been talking about Google very much. You know who else hasn't been talking about Google very much? Nobody. Mm-hmm. Hardly anybody. And yet quietly, Google is setting at an all-time high with consolidation in the last 2 weeks, showing strength above what the technology space is, showing strength above what Apple is doing, showing strength above what Microsoft is doing, showing strength above Facebook, showing strength above Netflix, showing strength above all those stocks that we correlated against ever since Kramer put the thing together back in 2013. So now Google quietly, shockingly, how did Google quietly get to an all-time high in the last 2 weeks, going with 3 weeks of consolidation under a very clean trigger at 1800 with an easy target of 2000? So when you're looking at communications, you're saying, okay, I like that potential breakout. Well, the momentum traders at that point, they're going to go into the communication sector and they're going to identify these stocks. I like Google above 1800. That's a momentum trade. When you're looking at broadcasting areas of this sector, which obviously this sector is just a mosh pit of every single stock they didn't know where to categorize. But when you're looking at the communication and broadcasting space, News Corp here, News Corp threatening a momentum breakout with the 90 MA acting as support. So you have your momentum triggers there. When you look at T-Mobile here, T-Mobile forming a high base with momentum, with a fairly clean trigger above 130. Maybe it's 132, maybe it's 131. You got to look into that and make that decision for yourself. But you have your momentum style traders looking at this right now. But also, whereas Mark would scoff at the breakout of 130 on T-Mobile and maybe get piqued his interest a little bit on the breakout of Google on 1800 because he should, but you know what he's looking at? We know what stock Mark loves. Mark loves AT&T. He loves those types of stocks. Well, look at where you're at in the bottom end of your historical range here on AT&T. You're also seeing a little bit of reversal characteristics here on AT&T as well. And so my point is this. When you're looking at the sectors right now, and I look forward to having a fascinating conversation with the coaches today of how to rank these sectors, because I'm seeing strength in this theme of industrials, energy, basic materials, and finance. That theme is playing out, and nothing has changed that theme. But coming into this weekend, I'm seeing technology with the hovering underneath the breakout channel. I'm seeing communications break out. I'm seeing discretionary perhaps break out of an all-time high. And so I love this market right now because it's got 31 flavors. It's got the momentum traders, it's got their high base breakouts, and it's got the bottom feeder analysis for the people like Mark. And so I'm geeking out a little bit here, but I'm really looking forward to that conversation later today in the scouting report meeting.
And one of the things I want to do here in the halftime report in just a few minutes, Matt, is actually kind of what you just did with communications, actually go through all the different sectors and take a look at them and maybe look at a couple of the components. On the note on communications, while we're there, though, take a quick peek at a couple others, which actually I think still leads to the same analysis. Look at Facebook. So these are the biggest components in communications. It's not the breakout we're looking at on Google, but there's nothing negative in the chart, right? It's kind of
well, it's not negative, so it wouldn't change the analysis, but it would also say I like the Google breakout far more than touching Facebook.
Absolutely.
Right.
Disney showing strength. It's been incredibly strong here recently. Netflix holding support. So when I don't see bearish downtrends in the biggest components in a sector,
holding support, but I will tell you the Netflix doesn't give me more confidence in the analysis, quite frankly, because if Netflix violates support, I don't think it's going to care about that 200-day moving average.
And it's the sixth biggest component in communications, but when maybe one stock that you're looking at out of an index or an ETF that has 32 components, you're not going to get too worked up about that. You know what I mean?
I analyzed Netflix in as I was going through this, and it didn't change my opinion. But it doesn't, simply because it doesn't add to something doesn't mean it helps the other cause, right? So in terms of this, what was he saying yesterday? Causation is not correlation, or correlation is not causation. But in terms of this, guys, yeah, let me put it like this. In looking at the market, breaking down the indexes, the sectors, and the stocks, it's not very often where growth investors and value investors can actually look at that, where you can be like, I see something here. And yet this week, I do think the value investors are champion a little bit. And rightly so. They've been getting their ass handed to them against the growth for 10 straight years. Rightly so. Value investors, crow all you want. I will not make fun of you on Twitter. I will not. No, if you want a scoreboard for 3 weeks, even though the long-term growth can look at you and be like, listen, we're going to NASDAQ 400,000 here. So no, but let them crow a little bit. But the reality is the momentum traders are looking at technology. They're looking at discretionary. And they're looking at communications right now. And they're saying, value, have your day. We're getting ready to break out.
Yeah. And the reality is it's going to be a very fascinating conversation about sector rankings and whatnot, because there's interesting areas in the market. Everything's kind of been elevated in general, but you're right. There are some value opportunities. There are some growth opportunities, kind of a market for everybody, like a big Thanksgiving spread, Mark. You can take what you want and you can find something to trade in.
And Tim, it's a stock picker's market,
Yep.
no doubt, but it's also supported by multiple time frames within the actual sector analysis.
Absolutely.
Now, again, this goes without saying, there's lots of variables, and if you need me to read a disclaimer right now, I will. But to me, this market wants to buy.
Yeah.
Now we'll see it play out. But there is a belief in this market right now, guys. And now I don't share the fundamental belief, but the market doesn't call me and ask me my opinion.
Oh, if you wait to have your fundamental conviction on this overvalued market,
you're done.
You're not. I mean, listen, you got to play the game.
You'll buy when everybody else is selling.
Listen, you got to play the game. Like if you, I mean, I've heard like Jeremy Grantham, right? His fund is down $2 billion when he went net short. Jeremy Grantham's brilliant. Jeremy Grantham has called 3 market bubbles in his career.
Yeah.
You got to wait for signals. I mean, that's the thing about individuals who call their shot early. Wait for a signal. I think Jeremy Grantham's dead right. Yeah, I wait for a technical signal though, and I'm going to make money in between.
Well,
careful, I'm not going to be over margin.
Well, Mark, I want to get your take on something very quickly. There's I don't know who said this on social media, on Twitter, but somebody retweeted it and I just saw it. And the individual was like 34 years old, had done fairly decent in his life, and he wants to create wealth is kind of the overall theme. And he said, basically the argument was, this market is fundamentally broken and I'm putting my entire portfolio into put options on IWM and YOLO. That person's going to lose all their money.
Okay.
What? That person's going to lose all their money.
Listen, I got to tell a story. I've told this story 4 or 5 times. I have a friend, him, he lives in Madison, Wisconsin. He was telling me about a guy in the stock market bubble who was like, this is the stupidest thing. This is the stupidest thing. This is the stupidest thing. And just like this is ridiculous, right? This is ridiculous. And he just, shorted the NASDAQ with all of his puts because he was 100% right. Yeah. 100% convinced he was right. And guy lost all his money. He was right. He wasn't right on his timing.
Well, you know what? Everybody's got that story, but you know who trumps all of those stories? The economic philosopher John Maynard Keynes, who literally wrote the book on Keynesian economics, who every industrial, manufacturing, and service-based economy in the world today applies Keynesian economic philosophy. And he called his shot multiple times in the 1920s, calling this crazy, 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 crazy. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. And he bet against the market in the 1920s, bet against the market, went broke, but he was proved right, because we all know what happened in the Great Depression, what the banks did. We know this market's fundamentally disconnected from any semblance of reality. Mm-hmm. We know that, but you don't ever call your shot when the Russell 2000 for the first time in 2.5 years is actually showing strength. That's not when you call your shot. You call your shot when you get a double top, double bottom, and you violate support. That's when you call your shot.
Yeah.
So no, you don't bet against this market.
And let's say this market all comes crashing down sometime in the next 5 years, right? Like short-term traders are going to have a great time, because as long as you're managing risk properly and having stop losses in different places and not having all of your money and out of the money options and over margined.
But
I mean,
okay,
it doesn't matter.
Here's what I don't get. If you know what a put option is, okay, and you're concerned about the underlying fundamental condition, then you buy a put option that equates to 5 to 10% of your portfolio to erase the risk profile in your portfolio. You then write calls against your portfolio to offset the risk by bringing in cash flow. Then you use that cash flow to go buy those put options on IWM to widely speculate on something that, if you're dead wrong, which you most likely are, I'm going to lose Mark's money and not my own money. That is such an idiotic way of going about that, looking at the fundamental condition and saying nothing makes sense. So if nothing makes sense, I'm going to bet against the house. Think about the insanity psychologically of that individual.
It's just,
I've been wrong for decades, but I'm going to be right this time.
Yeah.
No, it's the whole zero hedge, right?
Yeah.
Zero hedge, people that have followed zero hedge for 10 years.
Zero hedge does a disservice.
Has cost people money and cost people money and cost people money because they've been predicting doom 10 years.
Well,
listen,
Mark, do you have some of the same underlying beliefs that zero hedge puts out there?
Of course.
Because I do as well. I don't think they're wrong all the time. I think I think they scream and yell and bloody murder and make things more ridiculously than they need to be. I think, well, another way, I think they're radical, but it doesn't mean they're wrong.
Correct.
But again, you can be wrong on timing.
Well, you can even be wrong on tactic, if especially from a timing perspective as well. But what you're talking about, like the dude on Twitter going all in on puts, that's just emotions. That's just crazy. That's not proper thought process behind your investment decision and position sizing.
That is a. I was short against the market. The Russell finally shows momentum, and now I'm on tilt, and I know I'm going to lose all my money, but I don't emotionally care because this is nonsense. Yeah. That's the emotion there. And at that point, go on vacation, dude.
Yeah, go fishing.
Go fishing, bro.
Jesse Livermore strategy. Go fishing if you got that kind of emotion involved. By the way, brightening my day here is Coach Emily Mururi popping into our halftime report to say hello. The Queen.
Would you like another edition of the birthday song?
No.
we could whip something up there, Emily.
I beg you, do not. Don't do that to the audience. My ears can take it, but I don't think the audience can take that anymore.
How are you doing? How are you trading the markets, Em?
I am doing wonderful. I am selling some theta like Coach Gino does. So I'm selling some theta and going to make some turkey later on tonight. So yeah, it's pretty much how I'm looking at the markets. Taking the day off on Friday, not gonna do much in terms. I'll probably just log in because it's just one of those things that we just do, right? We just can't stay away. But I don't plan on doing anything like, active like I would do on a normal Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Theta giving. Take a few days off. I will log in as well, kind of run my routine like Mark was talking about. Why not just in the morning? But yeah, enjoy the holidays, stack some theta,
but
get some cash
honestly,
flow going.
Tim, how much time on a daily basis do you spend in front of the markets?
Ooh,
like 4 or 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Emily, what about you?
Between managing my accounts and just studying up and looking at things, probably about 4 or 5 days, altogether.
4 or 5 hours. Mark, you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that seems about right?
Yeah, I'd say it's about right for me as well, both in terms of daily routine, everything that you do from a trader's perspective, and just, yeah, I'd say 4 to 5 hours about legit. How many hours are you going to spend on Friday?
10 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
I'll look at my positions. I'll look at my watch list, see if I need to do anything, and then I'll close.
I don't know what's going to take longer, trading on Friday or going through the In-N-Out burger. I don't know.
Use the holidays as holidays. Unplug, guys.
Yes.
Like, we're always in the market, but sometimes you just gotta take that 4-day weekend and enjoy it.
I will tell you, there will be zombies that die on Friday.
There will be some video games played.
There will be some video games.
Absolutely. Let's flash through the big picture here, Matt. There's not a lot we need to update in that regard. I'm going to do a quick rapid fire around these other products. Gold, real quick. Let's start with that.
Battle beginning. We
battle
know
at 1800.
We know the battle lines. We know where the trenches are drawn. Now let's let it play out.
Can we call it the Battle of 1812?
Listen, people have picked their sides on gold. They pick their sides. And are we going to call it the Battle of 1812?
I need
The White House did burn
I was
down.
about to say, are we going to compare it to a war that they burned the White House to the ground?
That one
Are we
wasn't
really gonna
great
do that?
for us, bro.
No.
Like, can't we go Revolutionary War and inspire?
The Battle of 1813 now.
Tip's got to go like, you remember that one time we got punched in the face?
That's like one of those.
down.
That's one of those dark
Terrible.
histories that America doesn't really talk about. Is that yes,
You
our White
remember-
House was burned to the ground.
Yeah. You remember when James Madison ran from the White House as it was burning to the ground? You remember that day?
I didn't know we had.
No, we're not calling it the Battle of 1812, bro.
I had no idea that I was in a room full of snowflakes here. It's been 200.
Oh, only you can say that, and it's
that's funny.
It's
And it's
deserved.
okay.
Me and Cody deserve
Yeah.
that. We do.
You know, we are sticking this 200 period moving average. Obviously, we've been waiting
Yeah.
for this for a long time. I mean, I think until you see this thing play itself out, Matt, you got to be patient here, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Listen, when I said the battle lines are drawn, those battle lines are drawn between central banks, institutions, and the big dogs. We're the grunts. We're the guys you put at the. I don't want to be. We're the archers. Let's put that. We're the archers. We're sitting in the back. We're the archers. But no, I like let the battle play out. You know, the investors aren't going to battle here. The investors aren't doing anything. You're looking at either initiating a position, or you're looking at, you know, maybe even protecting a position underneath 1800. So you're either looking at initiating, protecting, or adding at this point, right?
Mhm.
And you just don't have enough data yet to support either one of those. You have a doji on support after a massive sell-off in 2 days.
Mhm.
Okay. You have momentum to the downside. You have euphoria in the stock market picking up,
Mhm.
right? I mean, euphoria. We get dove Janet Yellen. We get central bank dove Janet Yellen. We get Janet, because that's just her name from now on. Janet. We get Janet.
No, Janet belongs
You're
to
going to
one
go
person
Janet
and one person.
Jackson. I
Yes,
know. I
cannot
get it.
give
I
her
thought the
that.
same thing. And I thought about, what was that show with Janet Jackson and Tupac? I thought about that too, Em. I'm with you.
Is Suspicious Minds?
But Mark's planning on dating Janet. And so we kind of like ease it in there. But, Janet is now going to run the Treasury. Dove, stock market euphoria, right? Well, guys, doesn't that
Matt,
analysis also is a big kicker on buying gold?
yes, I saw a headline that was like, the reason she was chosen is because she knows the ins and outs of the Fed, and she can make the U.S. government work better with the Fed. I'm like, oh God, that's not a good thing.
Mhm.
That's
dove.
That's the reason she was chosen. Okay.
I read that headline and literally rolled my eyes. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
Listen, we need,
Okay.
listen, this whole stuff, Janet is going to make us a lot of money in the short term, and she's going to
Yes.
help crash it in the long term. So yeah, buy gold. at
This
some
is the
point.
same
If-
person
Wait,
who
she said there's never going to be
hold
an
on.
economic recession ever.
3 years ago, this is the same individual who said we're never going to have a recession again. So we'll see how that plays out. But obviously, the stock market is celebrating the merger between the Treasury and the Fed, right? And so that analysis is lead to a little bit of euphoria, risk on environment always knocks gold in the short term. But when the bulls are looking at this same analysis, they're saying, okay, you little stock nerds, you enjoy your day in the sun, because that type of monetary and fiscal policy, that level of dovish behavior is going to lead to stagnation that we had very similar from an economic perspective to in the 1930s. And that's going to lead to a little bit of increased inflation, similar to the stagflation we saw in the 1970s. And in that environment, there is one product historically that you want to own, and that is gold. And so we know the battle lines, we know the analysis. Let's just let it play out for a second.
Yeah, be patient. Crude oil next, if we can. I want to flash through 4 of these, then we'll go on.
Can't go from gold to crude.
Got to do it, bro. Got to do it.
It's like when he goes from the US dollar to Bitcoin.
Crude's heating up, guys.
Yes, it's heating up with the economy and the theme and the breakout and the momentum. And I missed it all from every single perspective, and I'm okay with that.
I have no problem missing this one. I have no fear of missing out on crude. If crude goes to 55, I will not feel bad at all. Marky, what about you though? I mean, are you
But
approaching this breakout with any interest?
No.
Yeah.
And once again, and it's just my stance on it. Movie theaters, cruise lines, reopening, finance. I mean, I got a lot of exposure in these general rotation themes. And so, like, I'm not going to trade it all. I'm not going to be like all in, rotation. I'm just going to be prudent, take my shots, American Express, Morgan Stanley. I got some exposure different places. And I'll just miss out on crude because it's all trading in the general same. Hey, I'm very happy.
yeah, I was
And
going to say the same thing.
so,
Absolutely. The dollar.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
think about it. The exact same analysis is driving crude, that's driving industrials, banking, energy, the cyclical plays with, airlines. Look at American Airlines today, not a company I'd love, but look at the bottom up, look at the double top there at 15, look at the breakout of 14. You could definitely see momentum going on American there. So when you look at the cyclical areas of the market, you're starting to see those pick up too. So when you're looking at crude going up 30, what did it go up, 36 to 46 in that ballpark? So it's had really good price appreciation. Well, that's fantastic, but energy's up 30% in the same time frame. Banks are up ton in the same time frame. So you can't hit them all. The thing with crude is, until I can actually believe in a supply and demand argument on crude, I'm going to miss out on the upside there.
Yep.
I just am.
Yeah, me as well. And they're just like you guys are talking about. There's so many different ways to play it. Matt, we'll be looking at the energy sector a little bit later when we go through all the sectors. There have been great plays in that energy space recently. So it's not bad that crude's heating up and benefiting. It's kind of
it's good.
Resurgences, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad. Crude at $20 is not good for anybody.
No.
Literally nobody. Consumers, no. Economics, no. Corporations, no. It's not good for anybody. So it's good that it's heating up, no doubt, but I'm still going to miss it.
I think it's probably, it kind of wants 50 in my personal opinion here. I do believe that, although I still think there's no trade there, but it kind of feels like it does want to run.
Oh, day traders are enjoying it.
Yeah. Quick look at the dollar, kind of sitting still on support. We analyzed it yesterday. I don't see anything to update there. And then let's go to Bitcoin.
I'm gonna pull you away for a second.
All right, Forex guys.
You're threatening something, everybody.
All right.
There are some trades. So the New Zealand dollar is doing some.
Did Mark just pay you before
he
the show?
Did. I think he did.
I know exactly what just happened here.
He just took off.
He bribed you.
He's gone.
You guys can't see because he's not talking, but there's no Mark in his screen right now. He is gone.
He heard me saying, let's go through it quickly. He was sitting there. And then the second Cody and Matt piped in, he went and got his snack. So
the very second Cody said, wait, Tim, Mark left, like literally left. Cody, technically here, Cody, I mean, you're an active Forex trader, and net neutrality on a currency drives you crazy because you get nothing, right? I mean, you used to love that because of carry scenarios, but now you can't even get that anymore.
Carry's dead. Yep, carry's dead. But if we see the breakdown that we're
threatening,
seeing,
give me your analysis. That's what I was going to ask.
So yeah, it's on that weekly chart. That's the perfect one to look at, and it keeps pushing up against it. It's been hammering at it, been neutral. But with a lot of these things that we're hearing, it's looking more and more likely, both from a technical standpoint and from an economic standpoint, that we could see the break of the U.S. dollar. With that, we're seeing a lot of good trade setups with currencies such as the Aussie dollar, the New Zealand dollar. We're seeing movement into the Swiss franc, and it had a fantastic movement this week. And then you're seeing a lot of cross pairs other than the U.S. dollar that are also moving. My favorite one this week that I did point out over the weekend, look at the Nzd Jpy, if you could please. This is why, for all my Forex traders out there, you got to be patient. But once you get that nice little setup and it confirms, that was an easy swing trade going, starting Sunday to right now. And this is why, even with the US dollar doing what it is, the Forex market is not always dead and boring. And this is a perfect example of a nice little high base pennant type formation confirmation Sunday evening when the banks start opening over in New Zealand, and then just letting it run.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a trade out there, just like in the stock market. When the stock market's boring, there's stocks that can be traded. Currencies can be traded. And we're seeing movement in the New Zealand dollar and the Australian dollar, as well as the Swiss franc. And I think it's all just because of the certainty that we're seeing in those versus the uncertainty that we're seeing here in the US dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about the euro dollar cross pair here, Cody?
This is
Boring
the
right
most
now.
fantastic segment ever.
I'd
Keep
say-
going.
So it can break to the upside if the dollar breaks down.
That's what I'm watching. Yeah. And this is the biggest pair out there. So when I'm just tracking Forex, one of the first ones I always come to in this one, and obviously that dollar showing pressure, Matt, threatening a support break. The euro obviously would benefit from that. It might be a good indicator when that thing does break down.
It is the number one traded cross pair, no doubt about that. But Cody will be the first one to tell you some of the better trades are on the cross side of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are.
Mark,
Cody, I'm actually looking forward to your Forex report this weekend. Like I said, it's not every day, it's not every week you have a legit trading scenario actually a rising currency any longer.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be one of my favorite short-term trading vehicles, and it's just changed over the years. But this is setting up in one of those environments where you could actually see some good movement in some currencies. And when we've talked about the Janet Yellen pick and how it impacts the market,
Yes.
and we talked about how it could impact gold. Well, it obviously has an impact on the dollar as well.
It absolutely does.
And so, where people are looking at the last 2 days or the last 3 days on gold, they're like, oh, look at gold. Bitcoin's the new gold. Bitcoin's the new gold. And 2 years ago, I would literally those would be fighting words for me 2 years ago. I mean, literally fighting words. We would fisticuffs, pull them up, old school style, like 1860. We're just rocking and rolling.
Sure.
That's not the case any longer. There is some degree of I want to say belief out there, not necessarily true fundamental analysis, but there is some belief out there. So they're looking at gold the last 2 days and they're saying, oh man, look, gold, it's over. That train is over. Gold's never over, guys. It's the only instrument that's been around for 6,000 years. It's never over. Dollar break support. Yeah, you're looking at gold.
Yeah, that would definitely be a catalyst. I agree.
Especially as Bitcoin does fight at 20K.
Well, and let's look at that Bitcoin chart if we can, because, Matt, we've been talking about this one for a while, and you even kind of off the cuff in a joking way said, well, it's going to hit 20K on Wednesday. We're not quite there, but it's trying, Matt. It did 19,605. It's a 24-hour trading vehicle, so you still got time on this one. But now it's felt like it's wanted 20K for quite some time here, Matt. What's your read on this chart?
Well, and this is a very, very momentum based, but Tim, there was some logic of why I said next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking at this, and one thing you learn in the STEP system is a targeting philosophy called potential average yield. And what potential average yield is the average time and price between two patterns, basically. And so when you're looking at Bitcoin right now and you say, okay, you see the breakout here, right? You go breakout confirmation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. So you get 8 days until the next breakout. You break out here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days before you kind of consolidate into that next breakout. You break out here, and this is the day you kind of asked me, Tim, and I said, well, next Wednesday. It broke out, and you're looking at an average yield somewhere in the 7 to 9 day range. And you break out here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. And so we're in kind of that 9th day right now. And so you're kind of in that average time frame on the breakout to where it starts to consolidate again. And it's not an exact science. It just gives you kind of a range to kind of understand the time frame something takes typically based on pattern recognition. And and so as you're at the top end of the range, both from a yield perspective as well from a timing perspective, you can anticipate a little bit of consolidation here. And that's what you want to see, quite frankly. You want to see some consolidation here. You don't want to see a deeper pullback here. A deeper pullback would spark a little volatility and would throw off the technical pattern. So, a consolidation range, a flag-based pattern, a deeper retracement, that you can look at more on a weekly chart into the 16,000 range could be legit there. But what I'm looking at is let's see some consolidation as we're approaching that 20,000. I don't think we're in the mood to chase here. Let's see some consolidation. Let's see some patterns start to set up as we're at the top end of the range. And then ultimately, if we get some consolidation as we're overextended here on Bitcoin, maybe we see something fairly similar to this where we get that 4-day consolidation. When you get the 4, 5, 6-day consolidation here, maybe next Wednesday, Thursday, we're looking at Bitcoin saying, look at the tight range that it's been forming, look at the breakout channel right above, right underneath 20,000, or maybe we're just looking at that significant whole number. So I think you're at the top end of the range. Look for some consolidation. I'm personally not in the mind to chase anything. I think there's too many pure technical patterns in the market right now. So to me, let's be patient here on Bitcoin. Let's let it establish a technical pattern. Let's let it establish resistance levels, and then we can look at perhaps that next trade on it.
Yeah, I agree. And obviously a little doji here on a Wednesday, but still holding and riding the lightning up there, Matt. Any consolidation back into the moving averages, I would like as well for new entry points for momentum traders. It's been an incredible couple of months here for Bitcoin, guys. No question about that. Let's move on. Let's talk just through the sectors here in just a minute. One thing I did want to get your take on, though, before we go into sectors, Matt, was just a slew of economic data today. Did any of it grab your attention? Because quite frankly, not all of them moved the market. There was durable goods. There was unemployment claims. There was all kinds of stuff, Matt. It was a busy day. Anything grab your attention from this?
Preliminary GDP, first and foremost. The preliminary GDP report is one of 3 different reports we get. You can see it in the FF notes here. You get 3, you get the advanced, preliminary, and the final. Once the advanced comes in, everything is just a revision. That's all it is. And so unless there's some massive revisions, nothing to see here. And so you see what the advanced came in at 33.1. The preliminary basically confirmed that at 33.1. So there's nothing to see on GDP here today. Unemployment claims still rising, still averaging around 800,000 on a weekly basis. It honestly not a big deal here today, to be honest with you. The initial claims, unless there's a blowout number one way or the other, the market isn't really even talking about it. Okay, here's your key takeaways from the reports. Okay, key takeaway on the GDP report, nothing to see here. Key takeaway on the unemployment claims report, par for the course. Revised University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment report, nothing to see here. So there was a slew of economic data today, but none of it was major market movers, and nothing indicated one way or the other economically whether we're improving or not.
Yeah, and you can read the minutes obviously after they come out over the weekend here, Matty, but it's not an event that has been a market driver, Mark, from a volatility perspective. So it's kind of one I think that you can take some time, digest it. We'll analyze it on Monday if there's anything in those Fed minutes.
What else do you need to know? You got the Fed and the Treasury merging together. You don't need to know anything in the minutes.
Yes, I don't think so. Some earnings, Matt, as well from that perspective. There was some companies in retail, Nordstrom's, Gap, all that kind of stuff. But the only one that really grabbed my attention was Deere. And I did want to look at that when we were looking at the industrial sector. So why don't we start with going through these sectors one at a time. And Mark and Emily, what I'd love to do here, because we do our scouting report planning on Wednesday to this week. We usually do it on Friday. We're doing it because of the shortened week today. And we won't go through and rank them here today, but we're going to go through and look at them and have a conversation about which sectors are grabbing you guys' attention. We'll even look at some of the components. So Mark, if there's any stocks within any space we're looking at, let us know in terms of which ones are the hottest or the weakest from your perspective. And Matt, let's just start right at the top. Let's go through them one at a time.
Yeah, and looking at basic materials right now, we already talked about it just a little bit, but in basic materials right now, you're hovering that breakout channel right there at 72. That's kind of what we're also seeing in the Dow Jones as well. So it's, kind of that same basic materials, energies, finance, industrials type theme here. Everybody's got to be looking at that breakout of 72. And, when you look at the actual areas of this space and you're looking, okay, you're looking at the chemical companies a little bit, and you take a quick peek at LYB, for example. You're seeing momentum, you're seeing strength there. When you're looking at, some ALB in the chemical space, you're seeing momentum there. The chemical space in industrials has been, not industrials, but basic materials has been very, very, very hot. When you're looking at, and maybe there's a little bit of analysis that it's been a little too hot right now. Let it kind of consolidate a little bit in that capacity. When you're looking at copper here, obviously the stock that we all like to look at from a copper perspective is FCX, and with that gold kicker a little bit, but it primarily is a copper company here, and it has been very, very, very strong, multiple, very consistent, great tradable instrument over the course of the last 7-8 months here. Very, very consistent. Everybody knows FCX on those bounces off the moving averages. And there's nothing really in the raw data from a FCX or a copper perspective that this is going to change here. When you're looking at the still areas in basic materials, right? And you're looking at new core, well, not basic materials, but you're looking at still in the S&P here. You're seeing a breakout with most likely price appreciation coming into the 58 level. And the only area where we're a little concerned in basic materials would be the gold area. Gold sitting at that 200-day moving average. We know the battle's happening. Gold obviously is holding this sector back a little bit, but we're sitting on a very, very major area of support in the gold market. However, when you look at GDX is actually violating that 200 days. So a little bit of a mixed analysis there in the gold market, but I don't think gold is going to negatively impact basic materials next week. You're threatening that breakout. We currently have a ranking there at 25.
It's our highest rated sector, yeah.
It is our highest rated sector right now. And you're threatening a breakout here. I don't know if we're going to adjust materials, but I do think we're going to have a conversation on whether to put it at 20 or 25 here. I think it supports a 5-point upgrade, quite frankly.
That'll be the discussion for sure.
Yeah.
The industrial metals, the chemical companies, they're all looking very good. The only real drawback in there has been the gold, specific gold plays, but I love that you brought up FCX because the copper plays is intact. I mean, so yeah, I think it's just very, very strong here.
Well, it's actually the chemical space that is the most important to materials.
Yep.
Right. I mean, that's the big dog, the Sherwin-Williams and the bunch. So, it's going to be an interesting debate, but I think we will look at a 5-point upgrade in materials, respecting the price appreciation we saw off that 9 EMA bounce, threatening that breakout. You have momentum in the trend. I do think it's right there on the cusp of a positive to bullish ranking, which would indicate opening up the risk graphs a little bit and a little bit more confidence in that area of the market, no doubt about that. When you're looking at some, the twin sister, step sister or cousin, however you want to categorize it, energy here, energy's been a very, very, it was an easy market to rank for years. It is not an easy area of the market to look at right now because there's no trends, there's no pattern. Well, there's a trend, it's bullish, but there's no real pattern developing. There's just a lot of momentum here. We had a fairly big upgrade into the positive 40 area last week. You're looking at this space, and there's no trades in this space because this space.
Look at Chevron in that regard, because I love where you thought CBX. Let's look at Chevron because that was a trade we had on the reports last week. Right?
Oh no, there was a trade last week because you had a little bit of some flags and some high bases and whatnot. But now you're just so far overextended here, and so when you're looking at the energy sector, I guarantee you there's going to be coaches that are a little concerned with the the debate's going to be this is the hottest sector right now, but it's ridiculously overpriced right now in the short term. And so how do you accurately rank that? Currently, we were at the 40 because we were right there, fighting that 200-day moving average. This week, you're showing a clear victor on the energy space. It's been a leader in the marketplace over the last 3 weeks. It was a leader in the market this week as well. And so you are seeing momentum in this space. It certainly has to have a bullish ranking, but just how aggressive do you want to get in that ranking as you're overextended here? So we'll I do look forward to having that debate.
I want to get Mark in on that one for 1 second, Marky, because this is the #1 performer performer in the sectors for the month. It is a reflection of the reopening trade like Matt has been talking about for weeks. And some of these stocks are up 20, 30, 40%, Mark, just this month alone. So what's your read on that, going on the piggyback of what Matt was just talking about?
You know, I mean, I think I really do think you pick your favorite one. I mean, pull up American Express, for example, AXP. You know, not as violent because it didn't have as much go, but it's been up a healthy amount on the same, you know, on the same basically catalyst, about what, 20% off the lows, almost 33% in the last month.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you've had some violent moves up in different areas. And so I really think, like, in this cross comparison, you know, I talked about American Express last week on my Friday show. I really think it's about, because you can't play them all, right? And so it's about finding which one you like moving forward. You know, and you know, if you have $1 billion in count, you can do whatever you want. But when you have only so much money to allocate to this rotation, it's about finding which one you like from both, from a trading point of view, from a investing point of view, from a position trading point of view, and finding the one you like. And so, like, you know, I have more in finance than I've had in a year. And I like what Matt joked about. It's like, somehow finance is the new cyclical, but it is right now in the trade, right? So, you know, listen, I don't make up the rules. I just trade them. So, you know, like, so it's finding the ones you like. You know, and if it's Chevron, it's Chevron. For
Mark,
me,
I do have a podcast discussion on why finance is being considered cyclical, and quite frankly, why finance should continue to be considered cyclical.
So, yeah, so it's finding the area you like the best. For me, I like finance better than energy. Both have had nice runs. I like some.
Yeah, I would take industrials right now, and over the last 3 weeks over energy, even though energy has been the bigger payoff. It's just somebody find me somebody who caught energy on a great technical pattern other than a couple days last week.
Yeah, no, and
there were short entry points. Yep.
And the one thing on energy that I would remind people is, like, listen, energy was hated more than any of these things. American Express, it was hated more than American Express. It was hated more than finance. It was hated more. Listen, when this violent rotation ends, I think you're going to see underperformance in energy, not overperformance.
Do too.
All right, next, Matt, we got a few sectors.
And very quickly, Mark, when you're talking about that cyclical argument that's been playing out, right? You can, and again, you can categorize it from a theme different ways, but I'll tell you, I looked at every energy stock this morning, and I didn't look at every finance stock this morning, but I would rather take AXP on Friday morning over anything in energy today. And it's not that energy isn't cooking. It is. It's just a matter of it being, there's no pattern there yet.
Yeah, it needs to develop into something more tradable in the short term for sure.
Yeah. You know, we already took a little bit of a deep dive on communications. You know, communications was, ranked right there at a positive 30. I do believe that the analysis leads to an upgrade there, most likely in that 25 type ballparks. But we've already talked quite a bit about communications technology. We talked quite a bit about the discretionary play here. Discretionary last week was right there at that positive 40 area. And guys, this is pretty standard for us. When you have a trend that is overall neutral and you're threatening a potential breakout in a trend that is neutral, that's always going to be a positive 40 ranking for us. The same way, if you give us a trend that is neutral and the market is sitting at a support level, that's always going to be a negative 40 ranking for us. So last week when you saw utilities, technology, discretionary, energy, all of that like positive 40, that's because they were threatening breakouts there. With discretionary, the question is, are you calling this confirmation? I'm putting this, I'm going to argue for an upgrade into bullish territory. I think this is an area of the market that people should be looking at. Specifically, if you're looking at a little bit of a catch-up analysis, meaning, meaning technology, communications, and discretionary perhaps catch up to what's happening in finance, basic materials, and industrials. Well, I'm specifically looking at discretionary and communications in that place. I do think you have some pretty legit technical setups happening in underneath these areas of the market, meaning the stocks. So discretionary threatening that breakout, look for an upgrade in the discretionary space there as well. When you're looking at finance, obviously finance is going to be upgraded, very similar to the cyclical movement we're seeing. Finance at 35 last week, broke out yesterday. Obviously, we only have 3 trading days, so there's not going to be a massive adjustments in the rankings, and nothing really transpired today this week outside of technical type criterias. So you're probably looking at 5-point upgrades or downgrades in most areas of the market. Finance at 35 last week will most likely be at 30 this week with some potential trades there. I'm looking at this market right now, and this is one of those weeks coming into the weekend. I know we have a day on Friday, a little half day on Friday, but coming into the weekend, I think this is one of those moments in the market where we're looking at perhaps some fairly aggressive stuff coming into next week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mark, you expressed
and aggressive for us to tackle, because if you looked at conservative aggressive nature, you would put us on the conservative side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And we always will be. That's just who we are. We're very conservative when it comes to economics, finance, you name it, right? We all come from very conservative backgrounds that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when I talk about being a little bit more aggressive, I'm talking about opening up those risk graphs, doing a little bit more speculation trading instead of kind of the lockdown risk graphs that you do in neutrality.
We're going to have some picks in finance, I'm sure, because there's a lot of potential.
That AXP pick is piqued my interest.
Looks good. I mean, USB is looking great. Yep. In the XLF, Schwab is looking great. So we're going to have a lot of picks in finance, no question about it. Mark, you said and expressed a specific interest in finance. Why is it the banks right now over some of these other sectors for you?
I don't know, man. It's just been, it's like, first of all, I'm generally conservative. Everyone knows that knows me. And it's like, if I get a pullback in everywhere. And so like, I always look at things, I don't look at it as from like upside potential, because I'm a cash flow trader, right? I look at from stability if crap goes wrong over the next month. And yep. I just think if crap goes wrong, let's say we have a huge virus like outbreak, or something goes wrong with a vaccine, or this or that, or all the crap that goes through my head. I think finance holds up better than some of the other areas. I know oil doesn't in some of those nightmare scenarios. I know movie theaters don't. I just think finance, everything would get drugged down on this rotation play if there is a pullback in the rotation play. I just think finance holds up better than the other. So it's more of a stability than an upside, call.
Well, and I don't think that's abnormal to a lot of people. You got 4 sectors right now that are really driving with this theme. You have industrials, you have energy, you have basic materials, and you have finance. And, I don't think traders are going to be like, let me hit them all. You're going to pick your favorite. And so when you ask Mark finance, I'm like, what, are you kidding me? Mark likes banks. like this isn't hard. Matt doesn't like banks. Matt's not touching finance. Mark likes banks. Mark's touching finance.
Let me complain about another one. Pull up Morgan Stanley, a company I'm
not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Last couple months.
I'm not doing it.
But my gosh, it is blown off.
I know. I'm not doing it. I'll pull up BlackRock if you want, but I'm not pulling up
Morgan Stanley. Is good.
You complain about how much money you made on naked puts. You choose to be the naked put trader. You know this. You get the 95% probability. You can't complain when you have locked down risk graphs. You can't. You get the protection. You get the probability.
Finance. So yeah, I'm a fan of finance right now. I think it's a good cash flow play. It's good cash flow area.
I got a question. We know where Mark's on finance on this rotation. Tim M, if you had to pick one, if you just had to pick one, finance, industrials, energy, basic materials.
I'm most interested in industrials right now. Personally.
The industrial play, the infrastructure, little kicker on infrastructure.
Well, because I still see a lot of potential out of some of the biggest names I love. I'm looking at Union Pacific, about to break out. Honeywell about to break out. UPS is starting to come back a little bit. Even Boeing, and I don't think Boeing would be my pick within the sector, but Boeing is even looking fairly constructive.
Let's take a look at that sector then from an industrial perspective, because I do agree with you, Tim. I talked about American Airlines earlier. Not my cup of tea, but it's an indication of what we're seeing in that cyclical type movement with, with the airlines, with the, like Mark said, with the movie theaters, with the cruise lines and all that, right? Well, you're starting to see a little pickup, and I could see bottom feeders who analyze American Airlines saying, yeah, if we close above 15, let's rock and roll. That's confirmation. When you look at Boeing here, Boeing's showing some real good strength over the course. Now it's riding that 9 EMA in momentum. We know how important that is. You're hovering underneath a breakout channel that's fairly consistent right there at 220, 222. A breakout of that, yeah, you got to be a little concerned with this little data point, but it's one data point. Other than that, there's some clean air there on Boeing. So absolutely 100%. But take a look at John Deere here, Tim. John Deere reporting earnings earlier today. And what was John Deere's earnings numbers from earlier today? John Deere comes in at $2.39 a share. A really, really, really good number. A beat on that at 144. They come in at 9.7 billion versus 7.2 billion. A massive beat on EPS, a massive beat on overall revenue numbers. And not only that, but they actually increased revenue guidance as well. So nice beat on EPS, nice beat on revenue, increased revenue guidance. So what are we looking at here? Well, yeah, we're seeing a little bit of negative reaction in the short term, but I'm looking at this perhaps trigger right there at 265.87. When you look at this on a 4-hour chart here, you kind of see that tick over there. But when you look at it, that tick, Tim, was like literally cash open vaccine tick.
That was Pfizer Monday.
Yeah,
we're now
Pfizer.
Always calling it Pfizer.
Is that Pfizer Monday? Is that we're going Pfizer Monday?
Always Pfizer Monday.
So you're looking at this, you're saying, I don't really understand the downward movement in price off earnings today. It was a really, really good number. But again, the market expects good numbers right now. But who's going to sign up for a nice breakout of 265 on John Deere with strength in the industrial sector? Right, Tim? So
absolutely. Amen.
I certainly understand that industrial argument right now. What about you, Em?
I am leaning more towards financials because I have not played this sector in quite some time. So I'm looking to get exposure into that. I'm a long-term investor of Bank of America, but I'm looking to add some more, some more plays in finance. So that's where I'm leaning more towards.
Okay, so in the finance place, well, let's bring it over to FinViz here a second. I'm going to bring over to FinViz, look at the financial sector very quickly. So when I'm looking at the financial sector here, and I'm going to put it on a candle chart there. When I'm looking at the financial sector here, what do you see? Okay, overextended on Aflac. You already got a bank, right? Overextended there. And you can drop this down into certain industries and whatnot. So let's say you're looking for a regional bank, right? You already have one of those big money center banks. You're looking for a regional bank because regional banks do perform differently. Well, second bank here is Comerica, right? And now I'm not going to get into whether you like Comerica or not. I'm just saying there's a stock here called Comerica, CMA. Second stock I looked at, I would go look at a little bit more in depth here. Second stock I looked at, Comerica. And what's Comerica doing? Very similar to what American Express is. You're riding the 9. You got a clean trigger right there at 55. You break out of 55, which also coincides with an old resistance level over here. There's nothing until you get into that previous target at 61. That is a really, really good trade setup. And how long did it take? A couple seconds. Now, obviously, I would like to go look at, more of those to cross compare and whatnot. And that's what we're going to do in the scanner report meeting. But here's another regional bank, right, that we might want to look at strength. MT Bank Corporation showing more strength than what we're seeing in Comerica, showing a little bit of a same pattern right north of 125. So, you're seeing a very similar pattern on the regional bank here in TFC. What you're seeing in these regional banks here, guys, is you're seeing like KeyCorp Bank, a nice fundamentally strong regional bank here. KeyCorp, high base breakout. So you're looking at that area of the market. And if you've said, okay, I'm looking at the finance sector, all of these sectors are doing fairly similar, but I like the finance sector the most. Well, let's go into that sector in the scanner report. Let's break down all of the stocks and let's find the best trade setup. Right? Let's find the best trade setup. And that's what I'm saying here. Guys, pick your poison. You don't got to do them all. Emily and Mark are looking at finance right now. Tim's looking at industrials right now. I'm looking at industrials and basic materials right now. what none of us are looking at is energy right
Hmm.
now, because again, I think with energy specifically, it has been such a dog for so long, and none of us believe in the actual long-term fundamentals, that it's just an area of the market that I love what Mark said earlier. I respect the price movement. I just don't believe it's going to last.
Hmm.
I
Just
think energy's got. I think we're going to look 10 years later when we're in our 13th year in the halftime show. We're going to say, you remember that 3-month stretch that energy had? Wow, that was a good day that nobody made money in. Like, the only people making money in energy right now are 75-year-olds who owned ExxonMobil for 40 years.
well, and God bless them. I'm sure they're
God
very
bless them.
absolutely
They
fantastic
probably own
rebound.
General Electric and GM as well.
Yeah. By the way,
It's
GM
just
is
not an area of the market that piques my interest, quite frankly.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you guys on all that. And that's why I am interested in the industrial sector. It's because I'm seeing the charts develop the way I like. I see why financials grabs your attention, Emily, no doubt about it. And there were a couple other sectors, Matt, healthcare, utilities. You want to take a quick peek at those two? I think those are the last couple.
Healthcare is literally, I don't know what I want to look less at: utilities, healthcare, or real
That's
estate.
why I literally left them last. I'm like,
there's a reason I didn't talk about it. Like, it's like, do they exist right now?
Right now, they don't to me. No, I mean, healthcare is just too mixed. There's too many different components.
Listen, and it might just be me, but I can't get it. I cannot get a good read on healthcare at all.
Yeah.
I can't get a good feel. I can't see anything. It's constantly cloudy. I talk myself out of analysis all the time. I literally cannot stand this area of the market.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would rather buy Goldman Sachs right
now. Well, so many of these charts just are not swing trading charts, and they're just really not developing short-term patterns at all. So it's kind of stuck. Utilities, Goldman Sachs would have been a better play.
I would rather buy Goldman Sachs.
Yeah. I do have a couple of charts that Coach Frank sent me earlier today that he was doing some of his scanning. I know that we do that at some point today. I do want to go through that. Anything else on sectors, guys, you want to talk about?
No, let's get to the good stuff. I came for Frank's stuff. So
Emily,
let's
this is always a gift I give you. I saw you. There's no way I could skip this today. There's not a chance. You are here and you love Frank's charts. Matt, a couple of Frank's charts here. Let's look at OGE. OGE. He's saying breakout on a utility stock, not much between here and just south of 37. You guys' interest?
The pattern of the trends there, breakouts legit. It's utilities.
Better position trade.
It's not a swing trade. Yeah, it's a position. Mark's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm. See if we can get you more excited with the next one. Campbell's Soup, CPB. Breakout of 50.
Breakout of 50, target 52.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
pull up Staples again.
Frank's like, I don't care what Matt says. We're going Staples and utilities. let's just get away from everything Matt says on industrials and basic materials and everything he said on communications. We are rocking with Staples and utilities.
Yeah,
that's a no for me.
It's a no for me. Just because Matt and I are so top-down analysts. Like, where's the hot sector? Where's the hot industry?
Mm-hmm.
It just looks charts
in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Frank just looks charts.
ORI breakout at 19, target at 1950 by 20.
Old Republic, huh? I could see it. It's clean. It's clean above 19. Easy target is 20. That's an easy trade.
Yeah, quick little swing trade. Yeah, I like that one as well. HCA breaking out of, maybe he found the one healthcare stock that's looking great. HCA breaking out.
If it's breaking out, Frank's finding it.
Absolutely. These breakout Frank.
That's what he does.
It's pretty legit there, So when you have it,
I know Frank. He's gonna want to see the weekly, and he's gonna be like, Matt, listen, I know you don't like healthcare, but that's a high base, hovering the 9.
That's a high base after it broke.
After it broke the weekly, This
that's
fits
legit.
Mark and Frank like
Yeah,
to a T.
That's legit. I like that for a position trade a lot.
To break out of the 3-year weekly chart and then consolidate. I mean, that you might as well said, hey Cody, do you like a snapback retracement?
Yeah, I like that
Absolutely.
for
Yeah.
The other one, Matt, he did love AAL as well, but he actually says he might like save better.
I agree with Frank there, but I think both of us hate AAL.
A little bias against AAL.
It's a very, very similar analysis on AAL. I do think the pattern's a little more constructive than on American, but if one's going to work, the other's going to work.
I have a naked put on save at 17.50. I sold a few weeks ago, so it's going to go to $30.
If Spirit wasn't such a terrible, that's true. I just heard Christian in my head. The shitty company. Go long.
Marky, what else do you hate today?
Oh, let's go find it.
No.
I hate Riot. You know?
Oh, Mark hates Riot. Why do you hate Riot? Riot's been a winner.
Because I got like 4 billion naked puts at like $2 and $3, and it just is blood up, so I can't sell anymore.
The way you approach the markets, this is not ever going to change for you.
Yeah.
So
like this is a complaint you're going to have for the rest of your life because markets typically appreciate.
I hate Mara, M-A-R-A.
I hate that dungeon too.
A few of the things that I hate: Riot and Mara and Neo and Workhorse, Tech and IDEX, and all of you something or another.
I think he was just going to say he hates us.
What do you hate about Marathon Patent Group here? Just took off on you?
He didn't make money. There's nothing else to say about this company.
I didn't make enough money.
Oh my goodness.
What about Nicola?
So we're a day away from Thanksgiving, and here's Mark saying, I'm not giving thanks to anything that's been good for me. I'm going to just hate on everything that has held me back even a little bit.
I'm grateful for Mark's honesty.
Kirks and cars. These are the things that I hate in this freaking parabolic market condition. So listen.
You know, from now on, we need to give him an actual, like Dina, if Mark's going to do singing, we need a written thing, because when he just starts going off the cuff, my heartbeat gets a little higher.
You're not worried about the quality of the music.
I care less about the quality of the music. I care about the quality of the content.
Hey, wait, let's have fun with DraftKings, right? You know, DraftKings, another update. Listen, I'm happy for all you making money.
On DraftKings, that's tradable there.
Absolutely. That $50 level I've been watching. I'm more of an investor in DraftKings. I've been saying that for 6 months, and I'm not changing.
Yeah, because you turned a swing trade into an investment.
It's an investment. We've got it. It's locked into my little folder in Thinkorswim that says investment, Matt. I even labeled it. I named it. It's there. So I've been
how it started versus how it's going, Tim. It's completely different, right?
he tried to front run. It became an investment.
Actually, when I added most of what I own in DraftKings, it was on the Jordan news during that period.
Oh, I know, but that was after the front running. Don't you act like I don't know what happened.
Oh, I will tell you everything about my DKNG position. But number one thing, I love what's happening right now. There's no question about it.
I do too.
Break above 50, holding the moving average, reversal pattern, post earnings. It's starting to heat up a little bit here. I think that you got to like this chart.
It's a no sell day. I mean, you got to break out here on DraftKings. You're looking at that 30-minute chart. We got a no sell day here, and you're threatening a high base on the intraday with some continuation there. What's not to love? You got a confirmation with the perhaps re-trigger there. That's good.
Absolutely.
Quality.
All right, let's start wrapping this one up here. We are the day before Thanksgiving. We're having a lot of fun, just kind of talking markets, chatting about everything. But we also got a lot of work we got to do here before we start our holiday weekend as well. We got our scouting report meeting. We're going to be putting out our picks. Mark, I don't expect to publish those reports until Friday or Saturday, though, right, for pro members. We're meeting on it today doing the organization, but they'll come out on Saturday as normally scheduled content does. Mark, we also have our YouTube special with Tyler Tyler tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. As always, we do them on Wednesdays. And Coach Tyler's going to be talking about tips for building an investment portfolio. So a little bit longer term thinking, nice little mindset topic, longer term idea, heading into the weekend. 8:30 Eastern, we have our Step System Mastermind group. Coach Tyler is going to be teaching that as well. So if you're a Step System student, make sure you attend that. And then Marky, over the weekend, you got your normal stuff you do. When are you doing your live Friday show?
When does the market close on Friday?
11 Mountain.
11 Mountain?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's 1
And I
Eastern.
will be doing it at 12 Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Mountain Time on
Done.
Friday. And then our normal Sunday weekend prep class at 8:30 Eastern, in which we'll have a lot of 4 days of Thanksgiving to digest, see what happens over there.
Literally digest.
Absolutely, literally digest.
So normal weekend programming, just Fridays a little bit earlier. And we'll put that on the calendar. And then, of course, our weekend prep class on Sunday.
What's your favorite part of the Thanksgiving meal? The traditional or non-traditional Thanksgiving meal, whatever. What is your favorite part, Mark?
I like dark meat turkey when I put that little bit of cranberry sauce on it and have that dark meat and cranberry goodness in my mouth. That is my favorite part.
That does sound delicious.
What about you? What's your
Emily?
favorite part of
Oh,
Thanksgiving?
mine's the dessert. Skip all the meals just to get to the,
Okay,
to the pies.
Pie?
And
What pie? What pie is controversial? What pie?
I gotta have apple pie with ice cream.
Apple, I like it.
Have you ever
apple,
had a
apple
hot-
crust? Oh, that's delicious.
Have you ever had a hot slice of apple pie with cheddar cheese melted on top?
Ew, no.
Absolutely great. Do not judge this until you try it. It's actually very popular in the Northeast. I'm telling you, I was not buying into this.
Well, first of all, I don't like cheese, so that's gonna be a no for me. But okay, I'll have the kids
I'm
try
telling
that.
you, it works. It really, really does work. Cody, what's your favorite part of a Thanksgiving meal?
Well, I don't even let it get to the meal, but the deviled eggs, I'll go in there and just start snatching them and taking those things
Ooh,
down.
I like sauteed mushrooms and deviled
yeah,
eggs before
yeah.
those little
Oh,
Stuffed
yeah.
mushrooms with cream cheese.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you just snack on those before you even get to the
This
meal. And
this is
get my
why
hand popped.
Thanksgiving makes us take a nap. It's not actually the meal. It's the pre-meal.
Yeah.
It's the
It's all the vitamins
post-meal.
while you're
It's like
preparing.
we're all a bunch of hobbits from Lord of the Rings. We're just eating nonstop.
What about second breakfast?
And third, right? I'm going to say something controversial here, but I'm going to do it anyways. Cranberries are overrated.
Oh, that's
And
blasphemy.
I agree.
Yeah, cranberries are overrated. Am you with me?
I'm with you.
Okay, this needs to
Bro.
be settled.
We're about to be
Tackle
stoned.
Oh,
trading
no.
community. Cranberries, yes or
Oh,
no?
God.
Overrated or no?
Oh,
Cranberries overrated.
people are going to have strong feelings on
They are.
cranberries.
These are
We're
fighting
about to get
words.
unfollowed
These
on
are
social
these
media.
are fighting words. I get it.
By
But,
the way,
I'm sorry. You should. It's like putting pineapple on pizza. That shouldn't be done either. So
Ay.
Mm.
One at a time, Matt. One at a
yeah,
time.
I know. I'm just tackling them
I
all
don't-
right now.
I will say this: I don't eat a lot of cranberries outside of Thanksgiving, so I do love my cranberry sauce. When it's done right and with a little bit of
Whatever.
turkey,
Right.
I think
Everybody says their cranberry sauce is right,
Mhm.
and every time it's the same thing.
It's
Yeah.
the only dish that's left on the table. Nobody touches it. You make it,
Dude.
and then
But
nobody
the person
Okay,
who
Tim.
wants it the whole
I
way.
get it.
We don't even make it. We just get the can and like slide it out and cut it in pieces.
It is
Oh.
overrated. Okay, would you rather? Let's play the would you rather game then. Would you rather dump a whole thing of gravy on that turkey, or would you rather dip it in cranberry sauce?
Oh,
it's
my
cranberry sauce.
turkey,
Gravy.
white turkey, I put a little gravy on. Dark turkey, I don't. And then the cranberry, just a little bit on the side for a couple of bites of that turkey. I like it with the turkey, but gravy I would go with first if I had a choice.
White or brown gravy?
Dude, brown
Oh,
gravy.
brown. What? White gravy? Only
White gravy and for
breakfast.
Thanksgiving.
What are we
What
doing?
kind of madness are we talking about here?
Are we
Just
having
making sure.
like, biscuits with it? Like some biscuits and gravy? Throw a little pancake mix there? Okay.
By the way, my absolute favorite part of the Thanksgiving meal is the casserole. the sweet potato casserole or the yams, whatever. Whenever they do the
Yams,
marshmallows, the brown
overrated
sugar,
again.
absolutely not overrated. They're
I think they're
fantastic.
overrated.
I
Yams, overrated.
love my yams or sweet potato casserole on Thanksgiving. It is.
And I'm a very simple man on Thanksgiving. Give me the potatoes, give me the stuffing, give me the turkey, give me the gravy, and let's rock, because we're going to enjoy the pie afterwards, Em.
All right. So
Yeah.
question, football games tomorrow. Which of the football games are you most interested? We got
None.
Texas
Well, the one
Lions.
we're gonna kick your
Oh,
ass
come on.
that one.
Hey.
Okay, wait.
That's
Hold on. Before Emily and Cody talk, you guys are going to yell at each other when all of you are the worst teams in football.
Yes, we know. Go Dolphins.
Yeah, we know.
We got it.
Thank you.
But
We
it
know.
does not negate the
So
fact
we
that
got
we are still
Texas
going to
Lions in the morning. We got Cowboys Redskins in the afternoon, and we got
Washington
Ravens
football
Steelers.
team.
at
I'm
night.
watching all three. That's my Thanksgiving day. I watch all three. I don't miss any game.
The most important one from football is going to be the night game, obviously, two really good teams. But how do you not want to see the Cowboys and the Washington football team go after each other in that terrible division?
For
Let's
also
see
what
what
the
could be
word.
the number one spot
Whoa,
at 3
whoa,
and 7.
whoa.
It could be the
Tim,
number one spot
hold
in the
on.
division.
Hold on. Tim
At 4
Who-
and 7.
wants to see that.
Dude,
Only the Cowboys
Have
and
you
the Washington
watched
football
the
team.
Redskins or the Cowboys this year?
dude, my boy Alex.
Tim, you might as
Alex
well
Smith is back. We have Alex
He is
Smith
back.
back.
Tim, you might as well go watch a high school football game. It's
Hey,
better football.
Matthew,
Probably
just because the
Whoa,
Dolphins are
calm
doing
down.
good now, you don't mean that you have to
It
talk
is
trash about them.
better football. Dallas, you need to get a real defensive coordinator and a real coach.
No argument there.
Washington, you need to get a name and a real football team. Okay. So
Tough
Dolphins,
luck.
that's the only thing we need to talk about right now.
Mhm.
Uh,
Marky, from football perspective, I want to see the Steelers. I mean, they're 10-0. You
They're
know?
10, I mean, that's the thing is, whenever you have an undefeated team this deep into the season, it's like every game I'm interested in
Yeah.
because you never know when you're watching history.
Okay.
Yep.
You know?
Okay. That going for 10-0, right? Going for 10-0. Who wants to take a bet? I got Ravens in that game.
Oh,
Mm.
listen,
I take the 3. I take the line. I got Ravens.
oh,
I
I'm not
smelled some
Tim,
free
Mark.
points I was going to jump on.
I think the line's off. I think the Sharks are seeing something on this game. I think Pittsburgh's a little overrated here.
Well, I'll do a straight up bet.
So it's
Of
Pittsburgh.
course, you'll do a
-3.
straight up bet. I would do a straight up bet, and I'd take Pittsburgh.
First of all,
What are you doing?
Pittsburgh's
You're
at
not betting
home.
with Tim.
Listen, I don't take bets that I don't get an edge. Listen, so
Dude, a 3-point fave at home for a 10-0.
I'll
It's
take
not
it,
an edge,
Tim.
it's a fair bet.
I'll
That's a
take it.
fair
I'll
line.
take. Okay, then give me the points. I'll take the Ravens.
I'll take the Steelers.
All right, done. Okay, what are we doing? Golf?
Nah, let's do. Let me think.
I want
I
to
can-
golf.
I could do a golf bet. Why don't we do
All right.
Top Golf, dude? We'll do the Top Golf.
I'm not
lunch.
5.
by the way, they just opened up a Top Golf in my
It's a
neighborhood, and I
very
can't wait to go.
popular
That's gonna be fun.
business.
Oh, that
You
was
and
the
I
smartest
Are
business
not
idea.
going on a date, bro. I
That
know
golf, I think,
we're-
was one of the greatest
Come
inventions.
on, bro.
That's more of a Mark thing.
Oh, Mark doesn't like golf, actually. No.
no, I do not.
So Top Golf on a date.
We can do golf. We can do a round of golf.
All right, golf.
The thing about Utah weather, there's always
Whatever the line
1 or
on
2
game time
days.
we're taking, by the way, whatever that
That's
line
nice
is.
enough. No, it's 3 line. We did 3 points.
Is the line
Where's
3
Dallas,
right now?
Washington playing?
I don't know what the line is.
They're at Cowboys.
No,
Hey, are
we're
we
down
doing,
line.
Emily, I'll bet you the Cowboys beat your Redskins.
We do have a Cowboy Redskin fan here.
Or you want to bet?
Well, you guys
right,
can
listen.
actually bet a date. Tim tried to take his brother out on a date to Top
Mhm.
Golf. You guys can
I
actually do
listen,
Top
I
Golf.
want listen, I only bet food. I only bet food.
Oh,
I want 3 McRib value meals.
Oh my goodness. The only reason he's doing that is to bring up the fact that I lost a bet to him, that I owe him 3 McRib sandwiches. That is the
value. You owe me
and-
3 McRib meals.
See, I knew it. Like, I don't. There is one thing I cannot take in life, and that's losing a bet to Mark. It's the number one thing that drives me nuts.
What do you think, Emily?
Look at that look on his mug.
I-
Hey,
Fine,
as
fine by
as
me.
long as they don't give our quarterback a concussion again.
I am going to
We'll
parlay.
try. We'll try
I'm
not
going to
to.
parlay Matt's three McRib value meals into an empire. So
I want you, if the Redskins win, I need you to sing a song glorifying the Washington football team.
can there be at least one sarcastic comment in the song?
Yes, you can have one.
Daniel Snyder's the owner of the
And
Washington Redskins. Yes.
All
yes,
right.
if it's
Yes.
towards the owner,
I
But,
will do
but
that. That is
hey,
a fair bet.
but in the song, Alex Smith has to be comeback player of the year.
of course, of
Of
Okay.
course. Has to be.
I will do it.
and he has to,
That is a
give
bet.
me crown and glory for, just being an awesome person, all the good stuff. You just have to say nice things about the Washington football team and me.
Tina and Linda, they're like, how do you mention football and golf in the same sentence? You're right. I would rather watch the Masters than the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I would
but
too,
that doesn't mean
actually.
you like golf
I
more
would.
than football.
Although
don't
I like
golf
the
more.
Super Bowl like parties when you can get all your friends together more than
Yeah.
that makes the Super Bowl so much better when you got a good group of friends, lots of food, like it's a holiday in it.
Now, if the
They're
Dolphins were in the Super Bowl, I'm shutting down the year. Like, you won't.
Oh, I'm coming to Salt Lake if the Dolphins are
Yeah,
in the
like,
Super Bowl. We're having a party.
there's nobody around me for that 4 hours.
Mhm.
I'm in a dark room. Like, you won't be able to even find me. I'll be in the corner somewhere.
Yeah. They've got a nice little nucleus there. I'm actually been very impressed with the Dolphins this year.
Yeah,
Little something to get excited about,
It
How do you
is.
lose to Denver though? But yeah,
they're still.
I do love football.
Solid.
Football's
Yeah.
amazing. Football's my favorite sport by far.
All
My
right,
favorite
guys.
sport by far.
Let's wrap this one. A lot of fun here chatting.
Dude, we
with you
wrapped
guys.
this one 15 minutes ago.
No, I enjoyed this. By the way, our finalized line on that bet is -3. Yes,
We're doing whatever the line is.
it says -2.5 on the open, but it was -4 yesterday. So you want a -3?
I'll take 3.
-3 is fair. All right, guys. Thanks for being a part of our show. One very, very simple final thought for me out here is positivity is something Matt talked about yesterday. It really did inspire me. I was thinking about it. I started, having some conversations. I picked up the phone and made a few phone calls to people I wanted to talk to and just chat with yesterday. And I'm going to do that again today. It's a time for family. It's a time for Thanksgiving. It's a time for gratitude, and it's a time, to really put some thought into what's happened this year. So Matt, thank you for sharing that message yesterday. It was really inspiring to me, and I appreciate it. I love having people around me that will lift me up, that we can all grow together, and that type of positive thinking is infectious. Maddie, any Thanksgiving thoughts? Any final thoughts for the team out there?
Oh, I've had way too many feelings. Mark said I was in my feelings on Monday, and it's like really impacted me throughout the week because I don't like to feel too many feelings. But no, I said what I needed to on the podcast and the halftime show.
I have something to say.
I just want to say real quick, I just love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thanks for coming on and hanging out with us every day, being a part of this community, and absolutely enjoy Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Just be very, very safe, guys. Love you guys. Enjoy the weekend.
And Queen, why don't we'll give you
Well,
the very
let's
final
let
thought.
Cody. Let's let Cody go. Cody hasn't had a chance to say anything.
Cody's said plenty.
Cody's gone.
Cody's
Well, obviously it is Thanksgiving, and I became a part of Team Tackle, from being a student, and now I'm, honored to just being, a coach amongst you guys. And Team Tackle, you guys have no idea what these lovely gentlemen do for us behind the scenes. I have now being able to be, a part of that and see what all the work that they put to bring you guys this wonderful content that you guys have been exposed to. And I just want to take a moment to just appreciate you guys, Mark and Tim and Matt and Gino and Noah and Coach Tyler and Marquise and Cody. I mean, Cody became a dad right in front of our eyes. I mean, that's just awesome to just
awesome.
Watch this family grow and, and just be a part of this awesome, thing that I like to call our tribe. But it's been an amazing journey, and I'm just grateful for each and every one of you guys. You guys are awesome. So thanks for all you do for us.
Well, Emily, we love you, and you're the queen of tackle, and you bring so much spirit to our community and our meetings, and you know, for me personally, you keep me from going insane. So woosah, girl. Bad boys for life. Love you, girl.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mark, just one last thing. Linda is saying you're still scared of her in fantasy football.
You should be.
Calling-
He
talking
ran,
trash.
Linda. He
Go
ran.
girl.
He didn't want it. He is the one who vetoed in Nzd Tackle Trading Fantasy League this year because he did not want to face a juggernaut by the name of Linda. He is scared of you. You need to put pressure on him. You need to verbally chastise him.
Listen,
You need to shame
I'm
him.
adding Linda to this bet.
there
If
is
the
a
Re-
direct
if the
correlation.
Washington football team wins, you also have to say something nice about Linda.
When I'm in a relationship, I play a lot of fantasy football. When I'm single, I don't. There's a correlation between the two.
All right, guys, we're done for today.